if we allowed everybody in the prisons to decide when they're going to take a shower, I think we'd have a real problem, sir.
I was just hoping for some leeway.
I understand, but there's a reason we have rules. There's too many people there to allow everybody to do whatever they want.
They also have more than enough time to allow people to shower.
Right. So they should allow you to shower whenever you want to by yourself.
No, I wasn't by myself. It was just, I was trying to hope that he could make time to where I could go take a shower, because they actually.
So you're asking for special treatment. So I'm asking you, do you think everybody there, you just said, well, they have enough time to do it. You think they have enough time to escort individuals there to take showers in their leisure when they have free time?
No, they have times during the day that they allow people to go and shower by themselves. Okay. And I thought that I was.
We are about to watch the parole hearing of a man who, in my opinion, might meet the sort of profile of one of those people that make it so that we cannot walk into our pharmacy and buy deodorant without it being locked behind a glass wall, right? This is someone who has arrest after arrest after arrest after arrest until finally a judge said, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to give you a prison sentence, 3 years, 11 months, and 26 days. Now, about 2 years into the sentence, he has a chance of parole. So let's see if he's done any rehabilitation, if there's been any improvement or benefit from being locked up in prison, and if the parole board decides that he's worthy of being released a couple years early. And with that, let's jump in.
He's serving a total effective sentence of 3 years and 11 months and 26 days. This is consecutive concurrent, followed by 5 years probation for the charges of interfering with an officer, resisting, evade responsibility, injury, property damage, assault 3rd degree, larceny 3rd degree, and 2 counts larceny 4th degree. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility of February 3rd, 2024. This was at 50% eligibility. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for this offender. It has been reviewed and shows that the offender has not completed any of its recommended programming. He remains on the DOC waiting list for general referral for addiction services unit, 5 or 7 day job assignment, vocational need to be assessed by USD 1, and voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the very high range of risk for recidivism. All right, Mr. Praceres, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you feel you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I understand that there was that I did not follow through with the OAP programming, but thankfully that while I was incarcerated in Cheshire County Correctional in New Hampshire, I followed through with a drug rehabilitation program while I was there. I was constantly proactive wherever I was, regardless of the fact of me being. But while I was in Connecticut, for some reason, I constantly was in a constant movement. But where I was stationary, I made sure that I was part of drug programs, that I followed through with them. And I do believe that you guys do have on file that I have one of my completions, which was a drug program that I completed at Cheshire County Correctional Institute in New Hampshire. It should have been in file because I had 2 counselors, and I should have brought it with me. I apologize. I wasn't really prepared for today. You
didn't know you had a parole hearing today? You didn't know you had a parole hearing today?
No.
When did you think it was?
I thought it was going to be for the 11th.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So I do try to get into all programs as possible. I do participate in the MAT programs here. I am in full compliance. I know that they'll vouch for that. For every facility that I've been in, I've been maintaining full compliance with my MAT. I've been on methadone since I've been incarcerated, and it's actually a godsend medication for myself, I believe. As to why I should be able to be granted parole, this time while incarcerated was a very, very tough learning experience, because my family, which normally was with me through my other incarcerations, were very with me, and they made it fairly easy for me to be incarcerated. As in this one, they put their hands down on me and they said that there's not going to be a continuation. I've been out of prison for so many years, and then I came back in 2017 through stupidity of my own, and then I was released, and I continued the same stupidity of being an active user, and I didn't seek out the help that I actually sought this time around, which was what I've done with the with the MAT programming and going with methadone. And I've been sticking through with that very, very, very vehemently, and I'm a very proactive person onto that. Even when new guys come into the block and I say anything, that instead of going out looking for inside the blocks to get just to use to go into MAT, because it's a more helpful situation, and coming back here and it's a continuation of just constant recidivism, and I'm not trying to be part of that. I actually have been very proactive in making sure that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm
You're
sorry.
starting to repeat yourself. Can we ask you our questions?
Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you for your statement. When we're done with our questioning, we're going to deliberate amongst ourselves and we'll give you our decision. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Good. So, part of MAT, how many groups do you do in a month?
In a month, 2.
What else do you do for recovery-based things while you're there?
Personally, I'm into adult coloring books. That's something that I find very therapeutic for myself.
Related to substance use?
Yeah, it helps me concentrate more, and instead of acting out, I color, and I don't know why it works for me, but it really, really works.
Any meetings or anything like that?
I am on the waiting list for those 2. I try to get into them as much as possible. I try to get into NA.
Let's talk about Cheshire County, New Hampshire for a minute. What did you do up there?
I was in the recovery program.
What was that all about?
It was an 8-week. It was basically the same as a tier 2 program would be in DOC in Connecticut. It was an 8-week program. It was intensified. It was 2 to 3 times a week. It had packets that had to be completed, and it was full participation, full compliance.
Okay, and when did you do that?
I did that in November of 2023.
So November of 2023, it appears that you were here.
Yeah, I was. I had a concurrent case, federal and state, and I was working on my federal case at the time, but I was being borrowed by the state of Connecticut.
So where were you before Corrigan?
Before Corrigan, I was in Osborne. Before Osborne, I was in Carl Robinson. Before Carl Robinson, I was in Cybolski. Before Cybolski, I was in Bridgeport County. And before Bridgeport County, I was in Hartford. Before Hartford, back to Bridgeport County. They had me in constant movement.
Okay. Can you talk to us a little bit about, and you haven't had anything, any kind of program that's like voices, right?
No,
It's
I've been trying to get
victim-based.
into. I've been trying my hardest to get into voices. I've tried my hardest in Osborne Correction because actually he actually had tried to have 2 inmates get a request to the people that who I should there should be some notification somewhere in there that I tried in Osborne CI trying to get into voices and the vehement.
So, what about the tickets that we've gotten this year?
Again, I was very angry at some points, and I got into 2 physical altercations, and nothing of my own, which would there should have been 2 or 3 physical altercations. I think there was 2. But when it came to interfering with safety and security, I don't know how I ended up with that one. I was standing around and they said I was trying to stop a CO from, I was actually trying to get the CO's attention to the fight that was going on. If you could actually see the camera, I was waving my hands, I was asking to actually to have him notice me because it was right over my shoulder, the fight that was going on. And then there was the 2 out of place tickets that I received by the same CO who had a situation. He didn't like me too much because when, I would ask him a lot of times to see if I could shower by myself because in Osborne they have a lot of communal showers and it was really uncomfortable for me. And I would ask the CO if I could shower on my own, and he always had a big problem with that. So no matter what, it just like they ended up moving him out of the block because he was giving a lot of people out of place tickets, and he was giving me out of place ticket for basically that's what it was, trying to get into a shower.
So, okay. So, let's talk about release for a second. So
Yes,
you want to go out to a halfway house, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you want to go to Waterbury, right?
Yes, sir.
And what are you thinking about doing? I know that you shared that you wanted to apply for SSDI.
Yes, I want to apply for SSDI because I believe that would be a best format for me. But at the same time, I want to get into the Connecticut Counseling Center, which also is sanctioned in Danbury. So I know that after I'm completed with my time, that I can actually move back to Danbury to be closer to my children.
So employment, you know, I know that you have
I have
background.
yeah,
You have
my
a background in. You
I
have
have
a
a
background
master-
in.
I'm a
You have a
master.
background.
I mean,
You have a background in welding, right? But you've not ever really spent a lot of time with that, or what?
I have nerve problems in my neck that
Okay.
we've discovered, and my left hand goes numb from grinding, and I lose. I actually during work at one time, I actually almost lost my neck. Where a grinding wheel, I was grinding it off with a cut disc, and it came up and almost sliced my neck.
Okay.
So I had to go to the emergency room, and that was the first time that we noticed. I've been going to UConn here. They just did an MRI on my neck.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for answering my question.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hammer?
So I just have a couple follow-up questions. So I have written down here that you've done prior substance abuse treatment in the community, and you have some clean time between 2012 and 2016. Were you in a methadone or a Suboxone program at the time?
Actually, no.
No?
No, I didn't fall into to the methadone type of category with the opioid usage until 2016.
Okay.
And it was after that clean time that I had. I was
Okay.
introduced to opiates after that time.
All right. And so then you don't have any clean time after 2016?
No, ma'am.
No sober
Except for
time.
now. Except for now.
Except for now. And how long would you say this time frame is?
3 years
3 years. And it's only been while you've been incarcerated, correct?
so far, and I'm hoping that I get to proceed forward. This is why I'm making plans with Connecticut Counseling Center and with a program here with CHR upon my release, if I am released.
And the charges that you have out of Vermont, were you, they're for trafficking firearms. Were you just running guns from Connecticut to Vermont and back?
I actually just had only a single possession of one. It's just that's the code that they give it for 922G. I only had one.
Okay, why were you in Vermont?
I was going up there to go try to get out of Connecticut, just to like try to get away from it all, to try to get away from the drug scene, try to get away from everything, and just.
Did you take the gun with you to Vermont, or did you buy it up in Vermont?
I took it with me. It was getting into that type of situation in Connecticut to where I was getting myself involved into a lot of stuff to where I needed to protect myself and whoever was with me.
All right, thank you. I have no other questions.
So here's my issue with you, sir. You take
Yes.
responsibility for nothing. Nothing. So why are you incarcerated?
I was, when they found me, I was knocked out. I didn't know where I was. By the time I found out where I was in Bridgeport County, I was completely inebriated.
So you don't recall committing these offenses. Is that what you're saying?
I don't recall
They're
when it
one,
comes to
two different dates.
the police situation. I do not recall. The larceny third, I think it was for the vehicle. That was actually a borrowed vehicle by somebody who actually lent me the car. Her name is Diana, and she let me borrow her Jeep. They said
It
I
was a
stole it.
stolen Jeep.
It was her Jeep. I was the one
Right.
driving it. That's why they gave it to me as.
All right, so let's go back to my original statement was that you take responsibility for nothing, and I want to know why you're incarcerated. I don't think you've answered that.
I'm
Because they
incarcerated.
found you blacked out is what your answer was, but that's not why you're incarcerated.
No, there was warrants, and I was going to court. They had warrants, and that's what happened. I had warrants, and I had to face the warrants that they
All
had
right.
for me. And
So let me read to you your explanations of the offenses. Larceny 4, it wasn't me.
I didn't say
Okay.
it was. Which
You
one?
did say, you're quoted as saying it wasn't me. I took the charge, it wasn't me. Larceny 3, I didn't steal it. Let's see. Assault 3rd, never fought him. I mean,
George, yeah, that's George Kalapanopoulos. George, he would tell you himself I didn't fight him. It was I have a very bad situation with Danbury Police Department. And if you notice that a lot of the situation with the officers who was the arresting officer was Stephen Hildebrand.
did you read the police reports?
Did I read? No.
I think you should. I think you should request the police reports and read them. Because your versions of things are very different than the official versions.
I never got into a
Let me
fight.
ask you this. In your history, you have an assault 1st, an assault
Yes.
2nd, burglary 3rd. Did you commit those crimes?
Yeah, that was Tommy Stilgato. I hit him in the head with rebar. I know I did that one. And at the
Okay,
same
what about the
time,
other one?
assault 2nd, that was a fight with my girlfriend. I hit her. I
Put
was
your hair
part of
away.
that. My hands.
That's an assault 3 usually.
They hit me with a second.
It's a lot, sir. It's a lot because it doesn't appear that you're remorseful. It doesn't appear that you take responsibility and ownership for your actions. And you've taken no programs, but you've received tickets that you also make excuses for and deny committing. I mean, if we allowed everybody in the prisons to decide when they're going to take a shower, I think we'd have a real problem, sir.
I was just hoping for some leeway.
I understand, but there's a reason we have rules. There's too many people there to allow everybody to do whatever they want.
They also have more than enough time to allow people to shower.
Right. So they should allow you to shower whenever you want to by yourself.
No, it wasn't by myself. It was just, I was trying to hope that he could make time to where I could go take a shower. Because they
So
actually
you're
had,
asking for special treatment. So I'm
They
asking
have-
you, do you think everybody there, you just said, well, they have enough time to do it. You think
Well,
they have
there are
enough
people-
time to escort individuals there to take showers in their leisure when they have free time?
no, they have times during the day that they allow people to go and shower by themselves. And I
Okay.
thought that I would have been allowed to be part of that group.
Yeah, I guess you thought, so that was your August and July tickets of this year? Let's look them up and see.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying both of those were for?
yes.
I know they're both out of place, but let's see what the
Yeah, I
actual
think-
descriptions are. I don't know. I don't recognize in you the change that I would need to hear to feel comfortable putting you back out on parole.
I'm sorry.
You were getting food.
Food,
The report says that you were not in your cell because you were getting food.
food. Okay, food,
Do you recall that? No.
food.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, you do have federal supervision to follow your sentence for 3 years. You understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I would recommend that you really take advantage of that time because you need all the help you can get. Your history is pretty bad. Your criminal history is pretty bad. And if you think the police have it out for you, that doesn't help matters, right?
Which is, it's not that they have it out for me. Me and Hildebrand, me and Stephen, we had our bit of differences. And it was just that there were situations that were going on. Now, I'm not gonna say like when they have the other larceny for the computers, those at that time I wasn't in that part of Danbury. And you could see that it was Stephen Hildebrand, and the person even said that they didn't recognize me. And Stephen Hildebrand, because he's dealt with me various amounts of times on the police report, he said that he's dealt with me, that he knows for a fact that it was me. Stephen Hildebrand stated that.
Okay.
I was not even in that part of Danbury at that time.
I read that you denied committing that. And yeah, I mean, so it's the police officers and then you come inside and the CEOs have it out for you too. I mean, when is it you? You absolutely said that the CEO had it out for you.
Yeah, he had it out for me again, but where is it me? I'm gonna tell you where it's me. It's my me. That's where it's me. It's me. Because
Right. You have to accept the help, but in accepting the help, you also have to follow the rules, sir.
I do follow the rules. And I do
And I don't
have,
mean just in prison. I mean, in the
I'm sorry,
community
the
as well.
community- the
Exactly.
community, that's simplified. That's simplified in comparison to being inside here. And out in the community, I can last out there, especially when
Well,
I'm
I mean,
sober.
you would think so, but you're going into stores and stealing stuff and
When I'm-
assaulting people and
I
what?
didn't assault people.
Okay. All right.
Now,
Okay.
at the same time, like I go into stores, I'm in this point of, at that point where I was doing what I was doing. Now I'm not saying that I didn't steal from certain stores. Like there are some that I should have copped out to that they didn't allow me to cop out to, that I did do, and that I try to pay restitution to it. I did do them, but they didn't charge me with them. There was a lot more arrests that were there, and
Right.
I did do them. But the ones that they picked, or the ones that I know they were just the more severe that I had nothing to do with,
Yeah,
and that I could have taken to trial, but
Yeah.
to take them to trial would have lasted 5 years for each one, and
okay.
it would have taken so much time that it would have been pointless to do it. So
right.
I took what I took.
Are you working in the facility now?
I'm trying to.
It's a yes or no answer, really. Are you working in the facility right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And why weren't you working out in the community?
I was working, but when I was doing what I was doing, I was working under the table doing stuff, side jobs.
And cleaning up yards, that's not legitimate employment. You need a job where you clock in, you get a paycheck, you pay taxes.
Which is, I'm not very good at that, yes.
You're not very good at that? Well,
No,
no, you
I'm not.
have to get good at that. Why not? Because you don't like
No,
following
it's
rules?
my
Fine.
my psychological format, when it comes into it, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. I don't know why. I tried having jobs and I've tried to put it together, but that's why I'm helpful with
But if you
medication.
had a
That's why I'm
job,
on medication.
you wouldn't have to steal from people, sir.
I understand that completely. And
All right. Okay.
I
Oh, boy. You need help. You really do. You need help. I hope
do
you
know
recognize
that.
that.
I do know that I need that, and this
Okay.
is why I'm trying to get the SSI medical to get the mental health help that I need, because I know
Well,
that
and I wasn't
need
even referring to that. I just think you need services, support, but you have to be willing to do the work and take advantage of it.
Yes, and I want to do
Right.
that.
All right, give us
I
a few
do.
minutes to discuss your case, okay? Please don't interrupt us. We're going to deliberate and we'll get back to you with our decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Pohl.
So, this is really kind of all over the place. Seems like we have minimization in some areas. He said he took a tier program in Cheshire County, New Hampshire.
We don't have any of that information, do we?
And he said at the time that he said he was in DOC custody here.
Right.
Which concerns me because the tier program is part of ZOAP in 2023. And
You are, yeah.
and he's on hold for a DOC halfway house until he completes a tier program.
Right.
So that's an issue for me because he's a 5.
Right.
Good on him that he's part of MAT. That's very important. But he also has to do some more with it. He said that he does the 2 groups a month. I asked him about any further recovery-based things, and he kind of talked about a little bit of mindfulness things with adult coloring books. Said he's on waiting list for meetings in the facility, that he's not taking voices, which is also part of ZOAP.
Right.
He's had some tickets, most recently, tickets that were, nonviolent in nature, but they were tickets because he, just didn't follow the rules that were there. He wants to come out to a halfway house, apply for SSDI, and get some counseling. I think that he also has the opportunity, because he has 5 years of probation to follow, as well as some federal supervision, right?
Yep.
So I'm interested in hearing what other people have to say.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hunter?
So, I was also concerned with the level of minimization. It just seemed like even the federal conviction, he's just bringing the gun to Vermont to change his life. I appreciate that Mr. Pizarris is participating in the MAP program. I think it seems to be very appropriate for him to participate in it. What concerns me is that he is a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that he does have a long history of substance abuse, and his criminal history has violence in it, and is all pretty much seems to be related to, most of it is related to his drug use from what we can see. And he scores very high for recidivity in the community. So I would not be comfortable finding him suitable for parole without him having done some sort of addiction services program to balance out with the methadone program. I think the methadone program is great, but without any real history of also treatment,
Yeah.
I think he's at risk to not be able to be successful in the community.
Thank you. And I agree with you, everything that's been said here. I think an important part of rehabilitation is really accepting who you are, the wrongs that you've done, responsibility for all of your actions.
Yep.
He has trouble doing that. He also very clearly has difficulty following rules and difficulty with authority. There are actually a lot of issues that need to be addressed. We don't have the time today to discuss them all, but there's just a level of non-compliance in life overall, and we just can't live that way. So I would not feel comfortable supporting grant of parole today. He does have 5 years of probation, and it'll be duly supervised because he has the federal supervision.
Mhm.
Reasons for tonight would be poor institutional adjustment, inadequate programs, and inadequate evidence of change. Anything different?
That's what I.
Thank you. All right. In the matter of Tan Prazeris, inmate number 261539, I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons: poor institutional adjustment, the disciplinary reports, inadequate program participation, and inadequate evidence of offender change. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, sir. We could not grant you to parole today, but we encourage you to take advantage of your remaining time there with programming and the probation for support. Good luck to you, sir.
Question.
Sure.
If I was to do those programs, would I be allotted parole?
So you can still, no, you're not coming back for parole, but you can still apply to the Department of Correction Community Release Program for a halfway house.
Okay,
So check with them, okay?
thank you.
Wow, and they denied. And you never know with Connecticut. You just don't. We've seen them grant in similar situations, and I really don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. It's like, really, he's trying to fight with saying, well, the CO should have let me shower alone. It's like, dude, you're in prison. And I don't know. I can't, I have no idea. But yeah, like, there's going to be a chance that he's going to be successful when he gets out. Of course not. I wonder if he'll actually get on SI. Blows my mind, but we see this all the time where they do. And we'll go over his record, which is long. And like I had said before, he's probably one of those people that are the reason that we have to have our deodorant locked behind the glass door when we go into the pharmacy. And really, I know it's a tough thing to say, but just the catch and release thing isn't working. And then what? Now, this is, I guess he could have chosen to apply himself and make the best out of prison. We have seen people that do that, and clearly he just hasn't. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to pretend I do. I don't know how you fix this kind of thing. Although I do want to say that I agree with him about one thing, and that is, he says people are out to get him. Well, now look, I don't think people are out to get him, but imagine if you look like I mean, that's just the way it is. Look, he looks like he's on the tail end of like a 2-week meth binge, and he's sober. So imagine if you got pulled over, and every time a cop sees you, you're screwed. I mean, he's screwed. There's just no way about it. I don't know what it is that causes that look, but so in that sense, I mean, he might have spent a lot of his life being completely minding his own business, but a cop pulls you over and he's like, license and registration. He turns his head and the cop's like, whoa, sir. Yeah, that's messed up, but I don't know. That was my impression. Now, all right. So we'll go through the records. Thank you, Sir Richard, for providing it. And keep in mind, Connecticut only provides 10 years. So it starts pretty much this hearing took place in November of 2024. It starts almost like within that 10-year range where we get the first arrest. So you have trespassing. It's a classic, like, I don't know what it could have been, criminal trespassing. It's they dropped the things or whatever, but maybe he's in a store stealing from it and they trespassed him and now he's back in the store. Who knows? Whatever. We can't speculate, but 9/14/2016, burglary, sentenced 20-month jail. And you know that he's not actually serving these 20 months jail because it's 6 days later that he gets arrested again for larceny 6th, right? And he's sentenced to 90 days jail. And you see where it's just a mockery of the system. See, how can you get sentenced to 20 months jail and then this days later get sentenced to 90 days jail? And then 9/15/2016. So this is 3 days later. Criminal violation of restraining order. That's always scary. Sentenced to 20 months jail. He didn't appear to court. Sentenced to 1 year jail. Who's getting the last laugh, right? Now, I guess maybe eventually he did go to jail for some time because 8/1/2019, probably failure to appear. They said that they enforced it. Now he probably gets out. Let's see. This is 8/1/2019, 6th-degree larceny, 12/7/2019, use of paraphernalia, 4/10/20. So I guess now he's starting to get time.
Listen, if you don't want to talk about anything, we don't have to be here. I mean, we have other people to see, so it's not a big deal. That's fine. You don't want to have this parole hearing this time.
I'm willing to talk about it, man, but I cannot answer it. I have no idea of her whereabouts. She was not with us. That's all I know.
So you didn't commit the offense. You have no idea why these allegations came about, other than she didn't like you, and you have no idea where she went when her family just abandoned her. Okay.
We are about to watch this parole hearing of a monster who is doing this to his stepdaughter from the age of 14 for many years. When she finally reported it to her school counselor, he, along with her biological mother and 3 half-siblings, got up and left the country. They were gone for 2 years until he finally came back thinking he can get away with it when they arrested him. At his plea deal, at his sentencing, the survivor left an impactful statement. And I'll touch on that. I'll review those facts and the statement, the mic drop that she left. I'll also share with you the two-faced comments from the district attorney. Now, if you can imagine, it's only 2 years from the date of that mic drop, and he's already up for parole. It's unconscionable. Now, his full term date is 2028, so he does have quite a lot riding on this hearing. Let's see if they grant or not. And with that, let's jump in.
Oscar Rogero, 428837.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Oscar Rogero, 428837. He is serving a sentence of 15 years, executed suspended after serving 8 years, followed by 10 years probation for illegal contact, victim less than 16 years old, and assault third. He is to remain on the sex offender registry for life. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of September 20th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows he has completed the short track sex offender program, voices, and he works in the kitchen. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the low range. Mr. Rogero, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I'm not really sure how to go about this. This is the first time I ever done this, and been in prison and stuff. I'm just, all that I can express is my regret for my actions and how sorry I am for the road that I went down through. And I believe myself that I'm not a threat to society, ma'am, with all due respect. And I did plead guilty and took responsibility for my actions. And I can only pray and hope that, and leave it in your hands to give me an opportunity to go forward and try to rebuild my life and be with my family at the, best of my abilities.
Okay. All right, thank you for your statement. We do have questions for you, and then we'll deliberate and get to our decision.
Yes,
we have officers here who conduct interviews, and the purpose of the interview is to get information to help us, before we come in here to make a decision, of course, in addition to the interview. But you were very guarded in your interview, and you didn't want to talk about your offenses. Why is that? After taking the short track sex offender program?
I don't know, ma'am. Unfortunately, due to the stress levels that I've been through in this place, my memory of things are not too good. There's hazy and stuff, and I have been having trouble, like short-term memory and stuff.
Okay, well, I'll just ask you flat out. Did you sexually assault your victim for over multiple years?
No, ma'am. No, I didn't. I pled guilty. There's really nothing further I have to, that I can comment on.
Well, I mean, I guess why would your victim lie, make up these allegations?
I have no idea, ma'am. All I know is that me and her, we never been close as far as that goes, or had a healthy relationship. She always rejected me, and as far as being in her life, she never was very happy with her mother getting together with me, and that's all I know.
I mean, I'm not sure that's reason enough for someone to make up these serious allegations and go through the trauma and embarrassment of disclosing it to authorities at school. Like, that doesn't really make sense. So then after the allegations come out, you go to Uruguay, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
and then Mexico. You leave for 2 years with your family. Where did the victim go?
I'm not sure, ma'am. I got kicked out of the house way before that.
But weren't you with her mother?
Yeah.
So you leave with her mother and the other kids, but you leave the victim behind?
I can't comment on that, ma'am. Like I said, I was not home. I got kicked out of the house way
Well, you
before
better
that.
comment on that, because I'm pretty sure you know where she was. A logical question would have been, well, where did the other child go? Listen, if you don't want to talk about anything, we don't have to be here. I mean, we have other people to see, so it's not a big deal. That's fine. If you don't want to have this earlier, that's fine.
I'm willing to talk about it, ma'am, but I cannot answer it. I have no idea of her whereabouts. She was not with us. That's all I
So
know.
you didn't commit the offense. You have no idea why these allegations came about, other than she didn't like you. And you have no idea where she went when her family just abandoned her. Okay. So you have 3 children with the victim's mother, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not in contact with any of them?
No.
Okay. You understand there's a protection order in place until December of 2070?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you learn anything from the short track sex offender program?
Yes.
Okay, what'd you learn?
Mainly that, my actions were wrong.
What actions? You just said you didn't do it.
Like I said, I pled guilty, ma'am.
But what action? I'm asking you, what actions were wrong? You learned that your actions were wrong. What actions?
What I'm being blamed of, ma'am.
Ms. Chance, do you have any questions?
No,
Ms. Page?
No.
I mean, we don't have much to work with here. We're gonna deliberate for a few minutes. We'll give you our decision very shortly. I'm not sure how you learned that your actions are wrong when you say you didn't commit the actions. He did take programs. I don't think he gained anything from the programs.
yeah, he said he doesn't need any treatment.
And he said he had no insights into why he did.
Well, there are no insights, yeah.
He-
Yeah. He does have an ICE detainer, but,
He can stay there.
but yeah, I mean,
I put-
he's with us till 2020. I mean, there really are, we could not possibly justify granting parole under these circumstances. We got a support letter from a family member who called the victim a liar. I mean, that's
Yep.
not much of a support letter. Wow. Reasons for denial, nature and circumstance and inadequate evidence of offender change.
Yeah.
In the matter of Oscar Ruggiero, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, inmate number 428837. I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons: the nature and circumstance of the offense and inadequate evidence of offender change. Do we want to rehear the case? No? No, all right. There'll be no rehear. Is there a second to the motion?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. We wish you the best, sir. We couldn't grant you parole today, though. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
This concludes the parole hearing for Oscar Ruggiero, 428837.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. It's unbelievable. Can you imagine? But you know who's worse? Is it worse? Equally as bad, and I don't know why she's not sitting in prison next to him, is the biological mother of the survivor. Just wait till you find out the depths of her involvement in this year-long assault. It's insane. And then the idea that when she finally reports it, I'm going to read to you these facts. I'm going to read it to you. Just hang on a minute. I need to get some stuff off my chest. The idea that they left the country. They left her. They just like got up and left her there. And they're gone for 2 years. The biological mother, the three half sisters, and you saw how there was a support letter that came in that just called her a liar. You can only imagine that's from the mom, and it's unbelievable. Oh my God. And you know, I like the way the parole board handled this. They just cut it up. They shut him up. They said, get the hell out of here. They didn't, you know, and all he had to do was show up and put on an act. All he had to do was put on an act, and he would have gotten paroled, because we have seen it time and time again. They might have even said, you know what, he has a detainer, ICE, get out. But they, thank goodness, didn't. They're going to let him rot in there at least till his full term date, which is really not that long anyways, which is just, you know, a part of how crazy the system is. He's getting out. Well, actually, it's in 4 years, September 19th, 2028. So 4 years and 4 days from the time of this recording, of my recording of this. And that's 4 years. Hey, he won't get back. They didn't even give him a rehearing. I love it. That's good. At least that happened. And it's truly unbelievable. Now let's go over what the survivor said and the two-facedness of the DA and all of that wonderful stuff. Pretty much par and par. Is that the word? With what you go through is this. And thank you, Sir Richard, for providing all this information. You see, this article is written September 12th, 2022. It's written 2 years and 3 days ago. And that's how quickly these parole hearings happen. Now he has time served. That's why it's happening so quickly. But I just want you to think about the idea from the victim's point of view. It's been 2 years since, the survivor, since she made this mic drop statement that we're going to read to you. 4 years after confiding to her high school counselor about the sexual abuse she endured by her stepfather, the now 19-year-old survivor finally confronted him. The survivor, who only went by her initials in Waterbury Superior Court last week, spoke about the abuse she endured and her struggles to reclaim her life after reporting them to her counselor in 2018. Now, remember how it said there's no victim statement? And you might say, how is it that a survivor shows up 2 years, leaves a mic drop, fights for all of this, and has nothing to say. There's two answers for this. One is it's possible she just didn't want to deal with it or couldn't deal with it. Two, which I believe is very likely, is they did not put in the they could not get in touch with her. They did not put in the right effort. We have seen time and time again in these Connecticut parole hearings and other states as well, where the victims get up and on a second parole hearing or a third parole hearing and say, I was never notified about the prior parole hearings. We have seen it. So you always have to take that into account, that this is likely the case. Okay. Why that happens, who knows? Maybe they don't have her address. Maybe they send it to the wrong address. There's, who knows? But okay. In 2018, Oscar, who was sentenced to 15 years in prison, suspended after 8, because why not, on September 6th, as part of the plea deal reached between prosecutors and his attorney, James Hardy. He will also have 10 years probation. He pled guilty to third-degree sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor. Standing at the prosecutor's table at Waterbury Superior Court on September 6th, the young survivor spoke quietly as she read from a 2-page handwritten statement. These are her words, 2 years ago to the date almost. You led me to believe that I was insane when I was not. You led me to believe that your behavior was normal when it was not. From this day on, I will not suffer anymore. I will live the rest of my life with happiness, the survivor said. Boom, mic drop. And she stood up there and she said it to this thing. As for you, you will suffer. You will suffer for the rest of your life. Every single day when you wake up, you will think of me. And when you think of me, you'll remember all day the things you did to hurt me, she added. Judge Joseph Schwartz said following the victim's impact statement that everyone in the courtroom was amazed by her statements. Words cannot describe what her childhood was like based on the actions of this individual, Waterbury State's attorney told Schwartz. In addition to prison sentence, Schwartz ordered a lifetime registry, no unsupervised contact with minors, no dating or socializing with anyone with minor children without prior approval. The reason for the sentence being so long, look, this is the DA. Oh no, this is the judge. The reason for the sentence being so long was for the severity of the charges. Really? 8 years? 8 years for full-on assault is long? That's 2 years for, I think, every year that it happened. No, that's less than that. I think it started happening at 5. No, yeah. 2 years, I think. 2 years for every year that it happened. That's long. These judges, they're a joke. August 29, 2018, the victim told the detectives that she woke up around midnight the day before to use the bathroom and noticed baby oil around her underwear. So she suspected him. Sometime before, the victim said that he had sexually assaulted her when her mother wasn't home. Okay. Later that morning, the victim told her mother, now listen to this, this is going to freak you out, who said she saw him in her room during the night. The mother woke up her husband, who denied doing anything. Going forward, the mother told her daughter, her biological daughter, to sleep with her back against the wall and tuck the covers under her body. According to the warrant, which was released in the court's clerk office, and how they did not prosecute her for that is just, again, the pathetic weakness of the court. The mother later denied knowing anything about the allegations about what her husband and the detectives, about what her husband was doing. And the detectives noted that she was emotionless when told about them. Emotionless. The victims also described other bizarre incidents with him, one where he walked into the bathroom while she was showering and smelled her underwear. He also verbally abused her, calling her names and comments on how she was dressed. When interviewed by police, he denied anything inappropriate. Since reporting the incident, the survivor graduated from high school, and she recently started her sophomore year in college with a high grade point average. Good job. Despite her academic success, she told judge she suffers from multiple disorders, clinical depression, body dysmorphia, which causes her to have unhealthy obsession with her appearance. And I just realized that I had the screen at the wrong size that time. But there you have it. There you have it. You can't make it up. The system is broken. The system that is put in place to protect our children is broken. Evil does exist. Monsters do exist. Why they would give him such a light sentence is unbelievable to me. But at the same time, we've seen much lighter. So good for that. You know, all he had to do, and we know we've seen it over and over again, if he would have shown up and played the game, he would have gotten out. It's the same system that views him as a low risk score. And this is the risk score chart that they use. Believe it or not, right? This is the risk score chart. So the purpose of the chart is to get as low, the fewest amount of points as possible. So 0 points is good. You can actually have -3 or -4 points. Actually, -3 points is what you can have. And here's how it works. This is why he would be considered a low risk score. What was the age at the time that you started doing this assault? Now, he was 46. Or in his 40s when it started. So he would have a -1. So he starts off already as a -1. Okay? Because, of course, all of us non-PhDs don't understand that when you, as soon as you turn 40 or 59, you know, you don't have these type of desires anymore, right? So you become less risky. And now, have you ever lived with a lover for at least 2 years? If you click yes, you have a 0. Because of course we all know that those who commit these type of crimes, they don't live with, you know, they don't have lovers that they live with. Clearly, I mean, this is an outlier. Clearly, this never happens. In his case, it's very rare. Now, have you ever had non-sexual violent conviction? Basically, have you ever had convictions? No. Wow. So he's 3 questions in, and he's still a -1. He's a -1. Any prior non-sexual violence? No. I mean, clearly, for us who don't have PhDs, we don't understand that these type of criminals always have prior felony records before they commit these types of crimes. Have you ever had prior sex offenses? No. So he's a 0 because clearly, again, they're always caught before they, anyways. Any prior sentencing days? Look how redundant these questions are anyways. All of these could be like, they're redundant. It's like they had to come up with a 10-point questionnaire and they didn't know what to fill it with. So they just put redundant questions. It's all the same thing, just different wording. Any unrelated victims? Unrelated. Any unrelated? I mean, it's technically related. So he would say, no, I don't. So he's still a 0. Any stranger victims? No. So it's still a 0. Any male? No. So it's still a 0. So he, by the end of this, has a 0 risk factor. 0. He would have scored a 0, which makes him a low. Now, if you say that maybe I messed up the test in some way and he somehow has 1 point, he's still a low. That's the system for you. These are the people that are put in charge of protecting our children. And that should, I hope, make you sleep well at night, really well at night, knowing this. But don't worry, we're just sheeple. We don't understand how this system works. We don't have PhDs. We're not that smart. Let's allow the judges, the legislators, the DAs, let's allow them to continue to protect us in the way that they do, continue with these low risk score algorithm things, continue with these low sentencing, I'm sorry, severe sentencing guidelines. And, you know, I mean, they could have gotten him more time for simply running away, running out of the country. He already had a warrant when he had an appear notice when he did that. But no, he could have gotten him for so many things, right? But no, this is it. And with that, I'll let you go.
I mean, I'm not sure that's reason enough for someone to make up these serious allegations and go through the trauma and embarrassment of disclosing it to authorities at school. Like, that doesn't really make sense. So then after the allegations come out, you go to Uruguay, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
and then Mexico. You leave for 2 years with your family. Where did the victim go?
I'm not sure, ma'am. I got kicked out of the house way before that.
But weren't you with her mother?
Yeah.
So you leave with her mother and the other kids, but you leave the victim behind?
I can't comment on that, ma'am. Like I said, I was not home. I got kicked out of the house way
Well, you
before
better
that.
comment on that, because I'm pretty sure you know where she was. A logical question would have been, well, where did the other child go?